Pick the choices that are the best met for your requirements and spending plan. Mishaps occur. At the point when they do, protection keeps our funds completely safe. Whether a car accident is your shortcoming or another person's, your vehicle protection inclusion ought to help you. In any case, the amount it helps ultimately depends on you. Not entirely settled by the mix of choices that involve your insurance contract. In this article, we investigate the subtleties of vehicle protection as well as a portion of the ways to pick inclusion that might be ideal for you. What car insurance do you need? Vehicle protection can accompany a heavy sticker price, particularly on the off chance that you live in specific states. Yet, don't tragically quit just to set aside the additional cash, since surrendering it to destiny might set you back more, assuming that you end up in an auto collision or have harm to your vehicle that isn't your issue. To safeguard yourself without overpaying, investigate a portion of the variables you ought to consider with regards to getting the right inclusion for your vehicle, as well as how to choose a decent insurance agency that will deal with your cases assuming that a mishap occurs. It very well may be confounding, yet recall that making it stride by step makes it a lot simpler encounter. Responsibility coverage. Individual injury or individual risk protection inclusion is perhaps the main component to consider while assembling a protection bundle. Pretty much every state requires least measures of responsibility protection. Neglecting to get the vital responsibility inclusion could bring about a suspension of your permit as well as fines and prison time contingent upon where you reside. New Hampshire has no required inclusion. You can decide to get protection in Virginia or pay the Express Government's Division of Engine Vehicles the $500 charge. However, occupants drive despite copious advice to the contrary and are liable for any harm to their vehicle or another person's. Responsibility inclusion includes risk for both substantial injury and property harm. One takes care of any expenses related with wounds following a mishap, while different covers costs related with harm to individual or business property. Both can safeguard you monetarily from individual claims coming from mishaps. Uninsured drivers. An Insurance Research Council concentrate undelivered in 2021 proposed that upwards of 1 of every 8 to blame drivers out and about are uninsured. This compared to generally 12.6% of the driving public in the United States. All-out harm paid by uninsured drivers in 2016 added up to $13 billion. The illustration here is that you ought to trust different drivers and don't underestimate that they will have as great inclusion as you do. Mishaps and vehicle damage. You ought to never disregard the most dire outcome imaginable when you pick your protection inclusion. Imagine a scenario where your vehicle is added up to and should be supplanted. On the off chance that the mishap isn't your issue, the other driver's protection, or your uninsured driver inclusion, will pay for the vehicle. However, there are different circumstances and regular disasters that can likewise annihilate your vehicle. In those cases, you can depend on your own protection. In the event that such a circumstance emerges, it is smarter to have sufficient inclusion to fix or supplant your vehicle completely. This incorporates impact and far-reaching inclusion. Getting stranded. A vehicle is a mix of mechanical, electrical, and elastic parts. Things can turn out badly whenever, and they are not generally an option for you to forestall. Be that as it may, being ready for such occasions is an option for you, assuming that you add towing and rental inclusion to your protection. This could resolve better compared to having a different towing club enrollment, which could save you those yearly charges. Your MasterCard's movement advantages might incorporate emergency aids and towing, so make certain to really take a look at the agreements of your card. Vehicle insurance costs. As referenced before, vehicle protection is an important cost. However, it's vital to consider exactly the thing you're paying for when your insurance agency gathers your expenses. Paying more cash for vehicle insurance doesn't be guaranteed to mean you have a superior contract. In like manner, paying less for vehicle protection doesn't ensure that you have the inclusion you want. As you consider how to purchase vehicle protection, remember the accompanying deductible versus premium. Numerous insurance agencies naturally suggest specific inclusion for specific drivers. For instance, in the event that you have a high schooler driver at home, it is smarter to have great individual obligation inclusion with a lower deductible in light of the fact that new drivers are inclined to committing errors. What's more, rates to cover youngster drivers will consequently be higher on account of their absence of driving experience. Do whatever it takes not to allow the higher rates to keep you from getting adequate inclusion.